Here it is, another episode of the Infinite Banter podcast. What is happening? My name is Mark Jolliffe, also known as DJ Soundwave. Really excited for this episode right here. Got a combo episode bringing back two guests together to talk about this new project, this short film called Room for Dessert. You probably heard me talk about it on here before. We're going to get into it some more today with Pamela Davis-Noland. She's the writer and director of that short film, and Theodus Crane, who stars and also produces the short film Room for Dessert. You might remember a couple years back, I had Carrie Cahill and Theodus Crane on here to talk about The Walking Dead because they both were on that show, and they had mentioned that they were both involved with this new project coming out called Room for Dessert. And they had mentioned I should get in touch with Pamela to talk about this project. And she came on earlier this year, and we talked about Room for Dessert. And this is before it hit the film circuit. Well, right now, it's hitting all the festivals. And I figured it's a good time, after seeing it now a couple times, to have Pamela come on and also have the star of it, Theodus Crane, come on. They both come on to talk about this short film, Room for Dessert. It's a very important piece of art. There's so much going on inside of this 18-minute film. And, I do kind of a silly show here, but this thing is serious. It's a serious topic and a lot to get into with this film. So stay tuned. Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane from the film Room for Dessert are coming up shortly here on the Infinite Banter podcast. So before we go forward, we always go back. And on the last episode, I had Saga on to talk about his new album, which is a double album, Black Label, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And here's Saga talking about that double album here on the Infinite Banter podcast. Flashback.
I basically had a bunch of Lucy's, and then I said there are other producers I wanted to work with, like the British producer Coots, and then there's and then Duke Westlake. I wanted to work with them, so I had some joints I had done with them, and I said, okay, let me see what I could produce myself around this to make this all sort of gel and all sound cohesive. So that was a real challenge for me, is to take my sound and blend it with other sounds, because without me obviously imitating or copying what they do. I have my particular sound, they have their particular sound, but I work with people who would still be in my wheelhouse of music. It's not like I'm working with some trap producer and then making boom bap beats and trying to line them up somehow and make them work. These are still boom bap producers. That was kind of the challenge. And by the time I sort of had everything done, like where I thought it all kind of worked and gelled well, I had 21 songs.
Definitely go back and check out that episode if you've not heard it yet, talking with Saga about his double album, Black Label Volume 1 and 2. I also did a review of the new LL Cool J album called The Force. I talked about that at length, gave my review and my thoughts on it. In case you don't go back to the episode, I guess I'll spoil it here. It's really good. Go get it. Go check it out. But I prefer you go back and listen to me talk about it for 10 minutes as well. But in this episode here, we got Theodus Crane and Pamela Davis-Noland to talk about the short film Room for Dessert, so stay tuned for that. I also later on want to talk about another combo. I went somewhere in the city here, I live in Chicago, I went somewhere to have something that's a combination that I didn't know was possible, and I think I liked it. We'll talk about it after the interview with Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane. You're checking out the Infinite Banter podcast. You can find it on all platforms. Rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Podchaser, Good Pods, places like that. While you're on Spotify, check out the poll questions. Check out the playlist. Follow the show on social media at Infinite Banter Podcast. You can also go on YouTube. There's clips from past guests. There's also episodes on there. And as I said, rate and review the show. It helps push this thing forward. And definitely check out our sponsor, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. I get all my nerd stuff from there. They got a new Kwame figure. There's a new Notorious B.I.G. figure. They got new G.I. Joe figures on there. I think I mentioned this before. They got a new Outcast double set. So I got the one where they've got the cover from AT Aliens, but now they've got one for Aquemini. It's crazy. They're just doing so many big things over there with their figures. So check out super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. All right, let's get into it. Theodus Crane, Pamela Davis-Noland, they're both here. We're going to talk about Room for Dessert and much, much more. And I also got to talk about a new combo that I had no idea existed, and I think I liked it. But before we do anything, the show does not begin till the one and only DMC gets on. He says this, and now it's official.
Yo, what's up? This is me, DMC, the K-I-N-G, the greatest MC in history. And right now, you're listening to Infinite Banter, because we will banter on forever, because this is the only place for all of y'all to ever be. I be Infinite Banter.
You're tuned into the Infinite Banter podcast. I'm Mark Jolliffe, and I'm really excited to bring on my guests. Both have been on the podcast before. He plays the lead role and is a producer on the film, and she's a producer and director of the film we are about to discuss. Welcome to the show from the award-winning film Room for Desserts, actor, producer, and musician Theodus Crane, and director, activist, and writer Pamela Davis-Noland. What is going on, you guys?
Wow, I love the introduction.
Oh, I worked a lot on it. So.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, I'm sure I forgot a lot, too, because you guys, for the film like this, I guess this will be the first question here. There's probably a lot of hats you have to wear. I mean, like Theo, you're acting it, but you're also producing it, and Pamela, you're directing it, but you're writing it, and there's so many moving parts, right? Talk about just the dynamics of both of you, all the jobs you have to do to put something like this together.
Right.
I'll start by saying I had way fewer jobs than Pam did.
But that's okay. He wears two of them, and he wears them well. So thank you for the two hats, sweetheart. I wear about 5, 6, 7.
That's a lot of hats.
It's a lot. It's a lot of hats, but I'm loving it. This is my first film, and being on this side of things, and yeah, it's just it is a lot, but I love it. I love everything about it. I love what I learned. Still learning a lot. It's something I want to do again, and I'm planning on doing again really soon. Theo and I have been talking about other projects now. We're really excited about doing other things.
See?
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure. Theo has some things that he's written, Room for Dessert. This is our proof of concept. There's a feature film. So there's a lot more that we have to do together. And, so the hats will still be there for sure.
You guys have more hats than like one of those racks in a
More
mall with all the hats on them or whatever, like lids or whatever it's called, right? So you got mad
That
hats.
part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited. And we have to definitely highlight as you said in the introduction, that we are now an award-winning short film.
Congratulations.
So we have feather in our hat, and so that's really
One of the
exciting.
hats.
In one of the hats, that's right. Those hats have a feather.
You need a lot of feathers because a lot of people help put this thing together, right? So all these
There you
hats
go.
need some feathers.
Yeah, actually, Theo, we have 2 feathers. The other feather is shooting the film during a SAG strike. That's
Oh
another
man,
feather that
during
we have.
the
Yeah,
and
that's 2 feathers.
getting like everything that was just amazing. Like you were asking before, like how we were able to do, and I think a lot of it was just timing and serendipity and the way things like were just meant to work out. Because like I'll be honest, if things didn't work out for me the way they did, I probably wouldn't have as much of the bandwidth as I did to be of any help. It just so happened that our family was out of town, and I came back into town to do it. So I had, just all that space and time to just operate instead of having to worry about this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
And so, and with like they got the Panavision grant.
Yes,
Got,
that's
like,
3 feathers.
yeah, like amazing equipment to use, an amazing DP, amazing director, amazing producers. They were very gracious.
Yeah.
That was my first time producing anything, so I was I was more of an intern than anything most of the time. And still, like it felt like it happened because it was supposed to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I feel the same way. We were blessed, as Theo said, with an amazing team. We had the Panavision grant that allowed us to, utilize this amazing equipment, top of the line equipment, and then we had this crew of people that, oh my goodness, everyone has such a resume. Everyone has worked in Hollywood. Everyone was, it was serendipitous, as we say, because everyone was chilling at that time, and everybody wanted to do something, and everyone wanted to do something like this, something with some substance, with some meaning, not just some fluff film, just for excuse my language, shits and grins, but for an actual purpose. And so I'm like Theo, it had to happen, and it had to happen exactly the way that it did happen. And now we're on the other side, and now we're doing the festival route now, and we're happy to say we've gotten into 3 festivals so far, and there's 4 more that we're waiting to get feedback on, and there's a few that just said no, but that's okay. We're doing good. We're doing good so far.
It's got to be gratifying too, because you guys have been working on this for so many years, and here we are,
Hmm.
2024, and it's now
Hmm.
out there, and you're in the film circuit, and the awards are
Hmm.
coming, and
Yeah.
what has been the reaction and some of the feedback you guys have gotten from the film?
Oh, wow. Okay, let me say this first of all. Okay, so we were accepted into this festival in LA called the Anthology Festival. This is their inaugural festival. Amazing group of filmmakers that got together to do this in LA, and they have a lot of excuse me, they have a lot of leg with it because they were in the press there. So we are actually before the festival, which is next week, they had a red carpet event, whereas they invited the press to come out to present their festival, and they chose five of the films that they had chosen for the festival in September. They chose five of them to show that night, that night of the red carpet event, to present. This is what our festival is going to look like. This is the five of the best film that we're going to show. Come see. And Room for Dessert was one of those five films. So we were honored before the festival at a red carpet event. So that made it to the press, and we got some incredible feedback. And now next Wednesday, we're back again at the Anthology Festival, and they're showing the film at 4 p.m. next Wednesday in LA. And so we're going to get more feedback on how they feel about it in LA. So that was really cool. And then we saw award-winning film due to the Black Film Festival, the New Orleans Black Film Festival, that we just did in August. And that was amazing. The feedback there, I was able to speak. There was a talk back, and the applause were loud, and and yeah, and the feedback and the questions were good and meaty, and they had good questions and about the film itself, and everyone was just the cinematography. They spoke about the acting. It was just great. Theo wasn't able to be there, unfortunately, but waitress, the one who played waitress, Brooks Washington, was there, and boy, did she get a lot of love. This was her first film,
Yeah, she
actually.
she was great.
Yes, this was Brooke's
Absolutely.
first film, and she just brought it, man. It was couldn't ask for a better waitress, and so she was there in the house, and so she got all the love and the feedback. Imagine that for your first film, right?
Yeah.
So that was cool to experience for her and myself, both first timers. And so yeah, and then we win the award for best New Orleans project. That was the award that we won, best New Orleans project 2024.
And there were a lot of good films on that website. And I remember going to it and seeing there was so much to watch that it's just
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
The great company that you both are
Yes,
in there.
yes, yes. This is their sixth year. This festival's a sixth year, actually. And we submitted into the New Orleans Film Festival as well. Unfortunately, we did not get in, which was a little bit of a shocker, but I think we're going to try again. And then we just got into another festival here in Atlanta. Well, I should say in Atlanta. I'm sorry, I'm not there, but in Atlanta, called the Urban Media Makers Film Festival. And they were really excited that we're part of that festival, and that next month in October. So yeah, and we're still submitting.
There you go. And there's many festivals ahead. And what's the next step after the festivals? Does that lead to maybe a larger release? Does it lead to like a DVD or a Blu-ray? Like what happens after the festival circuit kind of winds down?
Well, one of the things that I've signed up with this company called EOFlix. And EOFlix is a distribution type where you can actually you can put your work on their site for people to go and watch it, but there's it's also a distribution site where they help you get onto things like Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, and other sites, like other things like that, where people can click and you get paid per click. So I'm looking into doing that next, while I'm also looking into finding producers to again, this is our proof of concept for the feature film. So I'm gonna be diligently working on that and finishing up the script for Room for Dessert, the feature film, and starting the process all over again, pretty much.
Right. And
All
Theo,
right.
when you first got involved with it, what did you know about the character and everything? Were you first reading it like, wow, this is really something, I've got to take this on? Or what were your first initial thoughts when you read the script for it?
Pam, thinking about this actually when we started this call, Pam had hit me up about this a couple of years before we actually got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of always in the background. She gave me a little bit of info about where it was so far. And so when she said it's time, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do it. So the thing about Pam is when I first moved to New Orleans, she was the first person to hire me as an actor. She was the first person to put me in a lead in a play that she had written for the Fringe Festival. And so from then it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna rock with you because you see something in me that I need people to, in order to get out there. So like, yeah, let's go ahead and collaborate. And so whenever Pam hits me, I was like, yeah, let's do that. Because I also love the way Pam writes. Thankfully, there was not a schedule to clear, but it was really easy to just go ahead and lock in. Like, all right, this is what we need to, do. This is what I need to do, and really starting to think about who this character is and what that character's been through in different directions they could have gone. And we talked about that at length a number of times. So it was, and I think the thing that made it the most palatable as far as taking it on as an actor is the amount of time I had. It wasn't like a time crunch. We were in the strike, and so we actually couldn't do anything till for a while because of working around all the limitations that were put in front of us. So I had so much time, and Pam had so much time to get the script shoot day ready, and so like we were all locked in on that, and so it felt like somebody had given me a gift because we were in a time where everyone was told you cannot work, and I was able to.
Right.
So that was my mindset the entire time. Like, no, I get to do the thing that I enjoy, and so let me just enjoy doing it. And so, like the subject matter and all that, I honestly, I'm a black man in America, so it's not like I don't think about it every day. It's
Right.
I'm rambling now, but yeah, that's kind of that was kind of what was going through my head the entire time. It's like, I know this person, I know these people, I know this situation. I may not have been in, but I've seen it enough times. I've seen black men at the end of their ropes.
Right.
So it was just a matter of just locking that in.
Yeah. Theo was perfect for this role. The analogy that's behind the film, Theo represent the black man in America and his large presence when he and how he fills the room
Right.
is what was needed for this film. So he was perfect physically, perfect as far as his talent is concerned, perfect as far as relating to this story, being a large black man in America, being somewhat could probably seem threatening to some people. Just everything about it. Theo was meant to play this role, and so again, everything just fell in line. Also, one of the things that I don't mention enough, and I'd love to mention more, is that I dedicated this film to Botham Jean. And Botham Jean was a young, promising future. He had a young black man in Dallas, Texas, who was in his own living room after work, about to enjoy a bowl of ice cream when the door opened and a young white police officer, female police officer, went into his apartment and murdered him right there in his own apartment, thinking that she was in her own apartment and he was an intruder. And she shot first, and before asking any questions. And so no, both of them. So that's my film is actually dedicated to both of them, Jean. And if you were to do some research and look and go and look and see what both of them and Theo look exactly alike. To me, they're the same size. They look alike
Right.
a lot. And so that part too was just a little bit of it's like, wow, he even looks like both of them. That story touched me. I had honestly written Room for Dessert already prior to this young man being murdered while eating his dessert. Is just a coincidence that the title goes along with his story. It was totally coincidental, but the story when it came out really is what made me decide to do Room for Dessert as a film. I'd already thought about it. I'd already considered it. It was pushed, like, yeah, you should. But until that story came out, that's when I had decided, oh, absolutely, I need to do Room for Dessert. And so when Theo called me and said, hey, what you working on? My mind went right there to Room for Dessert. And so that's how it actually happened, honestly.
And connecting it to that actual real event, it really adds layers to this too that I didn't even think about.
Yes. Yes.
Because there's the whole perception, large black man is a threat without even questioning anything, just
Yep.
automatic.
Yep.
Her brain went right to that, and
Yes.
I can't even imagine everyday life like that, having to think that and have to worry about something like that. And
Right.
his
Right.
character really portrays. The thing I loved about his character is that he's sympathetic, even though I guess technically, he is the bad guy, right? But he's not. He's not a bad guy. He was.
No. No.
Circumstances brought him to this moment, this this turning
Absolutely.
point, and
Absolutely.
things pushed him to a point. Right? He even says it. He did everything right. He did everything he was supposed to do, and he's still in this spot no matter what. Talk about
Right.
that dynamic of just the everyday struggle of just Black Americans in this country, and they're just trying to do the right thing, and there's just obstacles that are always in your path.
Right. And the backstory of that, is his mother telling him that, as a child, if you just take your time eating, take small bites, sip little sips, don't drink a lot, don't put a lot of fluids in, and just, eat all of your food, and then you'll save room for dessert. And he did that in his life. He took his time. He did everything right. He did everything by the book, as he was instructed to do in this country as a man, and still not able to get to your dessert. How frustrating is that?
Just
Both of them, John was having dessert,
right.
and he lost his life. Yeah.
Expound on that
Yeah.
dynamic, Theo, a little bit.
Like I said, being well, for one thing, being a black man in America, you don't actually realize how many opportunities you don't get until after the fact, and it's across the board. It's the medical system, it's the judicial system, it's the police on the street, it's how people view you in the boardroom, how people classroom, how people view you on the street. You don't really fully understand it a lot of times until you're older or until somebody illuminates that. And so my biggest frustration comes years later. And so my relating my story to this story, nobody told me ahead of time that you have to do all this extra work. I learned it along the way, and you get to a point where it's like, why am I doing this? It would be easier to just go for what people typically go for that gets them in trouble. But yeah, it was. I mean, on the one hand, it's kind of gratifying to play out that frustration, to especially with being able to go home at the end of it, and you forget how many of those feelings you have to step down to operate on a regular basis.
Right.
And so, embodying this character, oh right, pissed off about a lot of stuff. You forget about it. You forget, like, oh yeah, I'm professionally frustrated about it, and you kind of can't be if you want to move forward. And so there's definitely like a double standard. There's a I had to be disarming. Like you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But I had to become the king of second impressions.
Wow.
And so
right.
Things like that. And so yeah, like it eventually weighs on you. It eventually gets to a point where like I don't want to operate like that anymore. I want to do what I want to do. So I definitely feel them. But I will say my mindset's probably more in line with the cook. Find it out, you do what you got to do, make it happen, stay in the thick of it. But I definitely guys was killer. And like I said, as I get older, as my eyes are open to more things, and I'm woken up to more realities, like the man was speaking some truth.
Yeah, the line from the movie that really I took with me after I watched it. Your character sitting at the booth, and he talks about the conflict of we just want equality, but what if revenge was something? It reminded me of like an old Tupac line from this song, "I Wonder If Heaven's Got a Ghetto," where he says, "Just think if we decide to retaliate." Like that verse kind of popped in my head afterwards. And I was thinking about that song, and I always tend to put music to things too when I think of something. But,
Yeah.
But that line really like hit me. Like watched it again, and it's like there's that, and I knew that line was coming. I'm like, this is the part that's gonna just hit me in the gut. Talk about I feel like that really sums up what he's dealing with. And he was at that moment where he had to decide, do I just try to go forward and do the right thing, or do I take this other way? And I felt like that one really hit. That was a really powerful moment in the film.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Theo, you want to expound on that?
There would be hell to pay. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah.
It's a complicated part of a complicated topic, because I don't believe in absolutes. There's no 100% of anything. Not all type of people, like not all people in prison are criminals. Not all police officers have the same outlook. You are a part of the group, and so you are responsible for an aspect of it. if it was a matter of vengeance versus equality, you know, I mean, first off, it would be tragic because there are going to be unforeseen casualties. They're going to be, is going to turn into that. You remember back in the day when they were, I think it was like a board game or something. They kept pushing the Civil War, or either a board game or a documentary or something. But it was like neighbor versus neighbor, brother versus brother.
Oh yeah.
It would be a, it will be a lot of that. It will be a lot of,
Hmm.
and I mean that's been, and I'm not saying it's not alone, but it's been really, really illuminated by our current political situation. When you look at how many people are starting to like raise their voice I've been surprised at by a lot of people and like just what they feel strongly about. I work to not pass any judgments on anybody, and
Hmm.
it's been the last 4 years have been shocking to find out what some
True indeed.
and
Yeah.
so I think that kind of pressure cooker, you really see how people thought about things, and you really see, where people's heads are. Because you kind of see it now. There's symbolism. There always has been. I mean, we even have a new Confederate flag. People don't even realize it. But that's what it is. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it would
Yuck.
be a mess. It would
Yeah.
be a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not something that, would benefit anyone, right?
Right.
And so that's the point that I like to, that I would like to say that I'm trying to make with the film. Again, I always say, room for dessert is not an answer. It's a question. It's a what if question, and before it would get to that point, we got to get a solution. What's the solution before it gets to this point where this young man took it this far? He had made a decision that day.
Right.
He was going to end his life, but the only thing that he wanted on his last day on earth was to finally just get something that he wanted. And that was his favorite dessert. And it was at that diner.
Yeah.
And when he gets there, he sees there's only one slice left. And it's about to be taken. Oh no, this is it.
Right.
And that,
Yeah.
and that's what happens. He literally just snaps. Now, what if we, as a Black people, wake up one day? There was another body of work that Theo mentioned that him and I worked on. That was the first thing that he was telling you about, the first play that we worked on, and that was another question. It was titled No Soul, and it was a day in New Orleans that the city woke up, and there was not one Black person in the whole city, and everybody was up in arms. Where was the culture? Where was the,
Right.
Theo played the mayor. No, were you the mayor?
Yep.
Theo, you were the mayor.
I sure
Yeah,
was.
you were amazing. Yeah, so that's another, that's the type of style of work that I choose to do. That's my medium. Is to pose questions, and in a way that, because I love to entertain as well, and so yeah, most times that's how I like to present my work, and so Room for Dessert is no different, where it's just me asking the question, to what is the solution to this?
Right.
What are we going to do as a whole? Not just what are we going to do as a Black people? What are we going to do as American? What are we going to do about this?
Right. And I think one of the main questions I got out of it was what got him to that point and how do you fix that? Because to me, that's the real problem. It's not that the aftermath. It's he should never have felt that way. He should never want to,
Right,
Yeah.
need to
right,
feel like he's got to take his own life, because of the system and everything's broken and everything, racism and all that. It should never
right,
be there. He should never be at that moment where he has to decide that kind of thing. It's
right.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
right. His final straw that particular day was what you see on in the beginning of the film on the news, and that's the young man, young Black man who was murdered
Right.
by the police, and the policeman was exonerated. Well, our character saw that morning, and that was his last straw.
Right.
He had that was his final day. I'm sorry, that was his last straw, and that's when he decided, nah, I'm done. I'm done. The backstory of that, as you'll see in the feature film, he knew the young man.
Mm.
He'd actually mentored the young
Oh,
man.
that even takes it to
Yeah,
another level.
takes
Yeah.
it to another level. So, again, this is our proof of concept. But in the feature film, you'll get the backstory of what really led him to that moment. You also, all the characters that are murdered, you also get to hear their stories and see their stories, and to find out, how they all culminated to spot that night when so much chaos was going on outside that door? Why were any of them in there?
Right. I got the feeling that it felt
So,
like home for them. Like that
well,
diner was like,
absolutely,
yeah, it was like,
absolutely,
yeah, like
absolutely,
Cheers in a sense.
absolutely.
Like that's where you go after work or something. You hang out here, you come
Hmm.
here for food, and
Everybody knows your name spot.
right,
Exactly.
yeah. And that brought me
It's
up to my, and that's a good transition because I wanted to bring up all the other characters. I think what really makes this film so great is that I care about everybody in there because you get a quick little background of who each person was. Like the waitress is describing, well, he did this and
Hmm.
this was his, he was a retire and she comes in here every day and orders that cake. They gave like a background to all these people. So they're not just people who got shot.
Right.
There's something to it, and I feel like that really brought the whole thing together. It's almost like it represents different parts of society or America. Like this is a person who worked his whole life to get this diner
Right.
and had to fight racism to own it, and she's a waitress
Right.
and she's the daughter of and like there's so many stories behind all of them. I feel like they represent a little
Absolutely.
piece of America all themselves as well.
Absolutely. Mr. C, the older gentleman, Mr. C, who got shot in the back, the one she was speaking about, actually survived the LA riot. And you'll find out in the story that he was opposed to the diner even being opened, but because, as she said, he went there every day, he went because it was open, but he wasn't. And the apologies that Cook was saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. That was what the apologies were about. He should have listened. And he even said that I should have listened to you. And then the woman who actually ordered the cake, her backstory in the film, she has a reason for being there that night, speaking with a young lady across the table from her. And the young lady sitting across the table from her, as she's also, both of them are regulars. A little bit of the backstory about the young lady she was speaking with, she was actually consoling her. Her parents were murdered in a car wreck, and she herself was suicidal. And the booth that she was sitting in was actually the same booth that her parents sat in every day
Oh
before they
wow.
before they died in the car wreck. So she was murdered in the same spot where her parents sat every day, and she was heartbroken, and she was suicidal, and she wanted to go and meet them, and lo and behold, she gets murdered right there. So there's a lot of layers. A lot of the characters have stories. The cop, there's stories. So
Wow.
yeah.
So that's part of what makes these stories compelling is like actually getting to understand who it is that you're watching and what their stakes and the whole thing are. Because again, collateral damage is just that. Like
Hmm.
it's value. It's a loss of value. It's the value of life, but it's also like what that life meant to other people, what that life
Hmm.
was looking to accomplish on their own. Um, and so, yeah, like God forbid the day that things turn uglier.
Hmm.
For you as an actor, just working with a lot of the actors who play these different characters in there. I mean, you mentioned the waitress. This was her first, acting role. You guys had the most, screen time together and dialogue back and forth. What was it like working with some of the actors there and portraying, these characters?
I mean, it's great. Like, I've known, like I said, Pamela was the first person I met when I moved to New Orleans. Ron, I actually don't remember when I met Ronald, but he's been a mentor figure to me for a number of years, and so it was more of a reunion than anything else, um,
Yeah.
which I'm always grateful for. I love getting the band back together. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's always a nice thing. And again, we were in a situation where we weren't supposed to be able to work, and we were working. So you can't help but be grateful to be in that kind of situation, you know.
Yes. Mm.
So that's kind of where that lives for me. I work to operate from a place of gratitude on a regular basis. Uh, Honestly, because that produces the greatest yield. Like if the more thankful you are about your circumstances, even if they're not the best circumstances, the more likely you are to probably be rewarded in the long run from whoever's in charge.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm. True.
so
True.
and not everything's about reward, but it's nice to get one every now and again.
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
without a doubt.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely, especially after all the hard work you put into something, for it to be recognized. And, again, this is our first shot, me and Brooks' first film. And, Theo and I, teaming up with Carrie Cahill. And, we're all friends, so that, I'm like Theo, it was a great experience. It was like a big old family reunion. Met some, new people that I'm hoping to work with again, especially the DP, Matt Bell. Oh my God, he was amazing to work with. And he saw my vision. And although I didn't know, the language per se, he was happy to work with someone who was, as he said, an artist. He worked with Lifetime movies and Hallmark movies, and those kind of by the book
Well, very
kind of things.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he signs on to work with someone that doesn't, can't even give him, the instructions in using the language, right?
Right.
And he's like, "Oh my God, this is so refreshing," because I was just explaining in layman's terms what I wanted and what I saw, and he found it to be so refreshing. So I think we become lifelong friends, Matt and I, are working on this project together because he loved it. He felt like it was a breath of fresh air for him. He was able to create and just do something, uh, again, like Theo said, at a time where there was no work. But not only was he able to work, he was able to do something like this.
Right.
So this was fun. I think for everyone. As a matter of fact, when we wrapped, there were two or three people on the crew that came up to me and said that they had worked on a lot of films and a lot of short films, and this working on Room for Dessert was by far the best set they had ever worked on. And that was so refreshing to hear because I've heard horror
Yeah.
stories. I'm sure you've experienced, things, but
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
so that was also because, again, like I said, this was, I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm learning from everyone at the same time, and I'm giving my vision, and I'm watching them just make it happen, and I'm having to just use all humility, which was great, because I'm like in awe the entire time. Honestly, I was in awe. That's the only word I can tell you how I felt those 3 days. Just mouth open, eyes bugged out of my head. Like, man, this is really amazing. To see everyone come together that way and to make it happen that way. And the actors were just amazing. And yeah, it was great. It was one of the best experiences. And I hope, I know it's not going to always be this perfect, but I'm hoping to
Right.
keep it some sort of like this. This was nice. I enjoyed it.
It's got to be gratifying.
Yeah,
It is.
absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
nothing better than like working with the people that you actually want to work with.
Hmm.
Like that's you don't always get, you love to do the work. I love to do the work. I love to every chance I get for a touch. But like sometimes you're just a hired gun and you're coming on and that's what it is. And you're grateful for that opportunity as well. And when a chance comes around to like again bring the band back together, there's very few better feelings.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Sure is.
yeah,
And we get to do it again.
Yeah.
yeah,
Get the
yeah. The
band back
band's getting.
together.
I mean, as long as people still want to see this movie, man, I
Yes.
love to.
Yeah, and
So
that's what we're pushing for. That's why we're trying to hit every festival that we can. We're going to try to get it on some streaming channel, and yeah, we're going to keep it moving. The feedback again has been amazing. I haven't had anything but amazing feedback so far. So fingers crossed it's going to stay that way, and we can just keep pushing it and keep pushing it out there. So Room for Dessert, guys, check it out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Eight,
for
that's
sure.
18 minutes of your day. Promise you.
Yeah. Like I was joking before, I have that kind of pocket of time. Like when it's like something's like 2 hours, like these Marvel movies, I can't do it. But you give me 18 minutes, I got that. I could do that easy.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, we tell a lot in 18 minutes.
Oh my
There's great
God.
music, 18 minutes. Yeah, we take you on an emotional roller coaster in 18 minutes. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot in 18 minutes. Room for Dessert,
And
for
I
sure.
love the music too. I don't want to overlook that. The Free Spirit song that
Oh
comes on
yeah,
at the end. I mean, I'm like humming
Yeah,
that thing afterwards. Like, 'cause it's just like, you kind of needed like a song that had a little more, like, at such a heavy,
right,
content. And,
right.
the song comes on, it's kind of feel like a release a little bit like, I could breathe now after
Yeah,
watching this thing. Like, this Free Spirit's kind of making me feel a little better about, things going forward. Talk about
that's
that
right.
song and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I chose Free Spirit. The writer, the singer and writer of the song Free Spirit is an artist out of Houston, Texas, by the name of Tony Henry. Look him up. He's amazing. He's an independent artist. He travels not much out of Texas, not much out of Houston anymore, but he would come to New Orleans a lot, and perform in New Orleans. And he's a dear friend. I was his manager, as a matter of fact, for quite a while, and helped him get gigs and stuff in New Orleans. So Tony, I was actually trying to get another song, get licensed and use another song by Tank and the Bangers, but the time had run out. So I called Tony and I was like, "Hey, let's pull up the catalog. Let's see what you got. I need a song for Room for Dessert. And so he's like, "Yeah, go find one. Go see what you want." And I was going through the catalog, and that room, it just stuck out like a, oh my God, like a beacon. Like it starts the film off. That's Free Spirit. The way the film starts, and you'll see the words
Right.
uh to the song, and it's explaining him. It's explaining the character. It's explaining exactly what he's thinking. Next time you look at it, read the words, and you'll see this is what the character himself is going through. And then at the end, when he's saying a free spirit, well, it's over now. So he's a free spirit. But yeah, I handpicked that song, and I love it for the film. The music and our composer for the sound and the other music is none other than Moby Dick, from the No Limit Records fame. He did all the beats for Master P and No Limit Records, and he did the score for our short film Room for Dessert. So we're honored
Wow.
to have Moby Dick.
There you
That
go.
was amazing. That was
Raymond
absolutely
E.
incredible.
Poole is his real name. Raymond E. Poole, aka Moby Dick, did the music for Room for Dessert. So that's another feather. That's four.
I'm losing track of how many feathers. It's like a peacock. There's so many.
We
There's,
got a lot of hats. We need
yeah.
some feathers.
And Theo, I know you appreciate music. Of course, you do music yourself. I'm sure it really hit you when you see the credits and the opening scene with the music and everything.
Yeah, when I found out that was who was going to be doing the music, I was bored. It doesn't get much better than to have it kind of like cinched it all around as a New Orleans project. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
And that's something I really really love that you get to represent a bit. 'Cause, yeah, I mean I'm not from New Orleans, but New Orleans is for home.
Hmm.
I'll take that all day.
Yep.
And also just kind of it rounded out a really good situation, like overall situation, because it wasn't just that there was a good script, you got really good script. The person who wrote the good script actually got to see their vision out as a director. We got a great DP, we had great actors, yeah, and now we have great music, and so like you just didn't really get better than that, like
Hmm.
especially at a time when technically we're not supposed to be working.
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know,
Right.
so
Right. Cool part
um,
is Moby Dick actually approached me. That's the coolest part. We're
it
friends,
is
of course.
cool.
I do know him. But he had been following us on Instagram. He had been, and just was like, "Wow, sis, this is interesting." And then just he was responding and liking all the things and responding and sending me messages telling me how impressed he was and how excited he was for me with the film. And then one of those messages was, "Hey sis, who's doing the music?" And I was like, "What?
Funny you should ask.
What are
You're right.
you doing?"
Just so
He was
happens.
like, he was like, "That's why I'm asking. I would love to." And I'm like, "Well, guess what? We think we would love you too."
That's
So
great.
that's how
So
that happened. Yeah, that's how it happened.
And I'm
So we're
sure,
it's kind of
yeah, uh, that's how something like this gets done, right? Everybody is pulling from the same rope, right? In the same direction, whatever. Everyone's not there because it's a money thing or I'm here because it's a job. It just sounds like
right.
everybody was part of this and they knew they were part of something special and they really wanted to be part of it. And that's
True
how you get
story.
something like this.
Yep, true story. No one was concerned about money. I mean, everyone got paid, but no one was really concerned that much. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, "Oh, this is a job." The majority of the people that signed on, it was because they loved the project, including Panavision. We wouldn't have gotten the grant had they not believed in the vision and the script. That's how we were able to get it. They read the script.
the Panavision.
That's how we got the Panavision grant.
That's crazy. And
That was
and
Yeah.
terrible fun.
yeah,
Yep.
But yeah, that was and that honestly that was like that felt to me like a dream moment. Because you just don't hear things like that. Like, oh, we got a grant from a major camera manufacturer, and so we don't have to worry about cameras. Like, who does that happen to on a regular? You know what I mean?
It happened to us, Theo.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm just
It was,
saying, like, that's one of those ideal situations. Like, it does not get better than that.
yes, unbelievable. So this project had to happen and everything had to fall in line and it had to be this Stella because we definitely have to get this message out. So that's my belief system, honestly.
Right.
That's because yeah. And I do believe that both of them is somewhere uh pushing this thing forward with us. I feel that too. I've never met both of them, Jean, honestly, guys. Never met the young man. But that story impacted my life to the point where I had to do this. And I'm gonna continue to push it and continue to speak his name.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's the way he lives on through work like this,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
and the support too. I can't even lie. When I saw my name on the credits for the thank you to the sponsors, I mean, I got geeked. I mean, it was just like
Yeah, you saw your
the nerd in me was like, all right, here because I totally forgot about it. I was so moved by what I was watching. Like, oh shit, that's my name. Hold on a sec, I need to screenshot this.
name. Referencing in the credits, I want to mention right quickly, because I didn't notice it until Theo brought it to my attention, and I'm so sorry. Hey, we Theo is one of our producers, and somehow his name got pushed to the bottom as producer, and we're gonna change that, guys. So if you don't see his name at the top, just know that Theo's name is supposed to be up the top as producer, and we're gonna fix that so that everybody can see that he is an amazing producer of this film as well. Just want to give you
Appreciate
that
it.
little shout out again, Theo.
I appreciate it. No, it's that was again, it's my first time having that title for any reason. So
Mhm,
I'm just really thankful that one, the thing got finished because they don't always, and two, it turned out as good as it did because
mhm,
it's art, and art is one subjective, and two just gonna be what it's gonna be. Like sometimes, a
mhm.
work of art just sometimes the work of art is not ready for the masses, and I'm really glad this is not one of those occasions.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're excited about getting into more festivals and getting it in front of more people and hopefully, get back to this fundraising and or get a major producer to just, take this thing and let us do it. We're ready. I'm ready.
There you
You
go.
know,
Yeah,
the story's ready, and it needs to be seen. It
It
needs to be.
yeah, absolutely. I think more people need to practice looking at other people's point of view in
Hmm.
general.
Hmm.
Like I think it just needs to be more empathy in that regard.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're really going to get empathy is by really practicing putting ourselves in other people's shoes.
right.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
100%. Yeah. How
Yes.
can people get involved if they want? Is there an ongoing like a Kickstarter or anything like that, or website people can go to check out the progress?
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we do have a Kickstarter page that's still up. It's not actually, we're not asking for anything right now, but we are putting a lot of information for people to go. But we're getting ready to start a new fundraiser, a new Kickstarter fundraiser. So we're going to definitely, people can follow us on our Instagram page, Instagram, Room for Dessert Film, and to get all the information about how to donate. We're still on Novak, a page
Right.
in New Orleans. So people can donate through Novak Video there in New Orleans. That we're still up for that. Still accepting donations there. And yes, we're going to do another fundraiser coming up soon, before the end of the year. And yes, we would love people to get involved. We're going to start pushing it, letting people watch it, and let them know that this is the proof of concept for the feature film, and hopefully they'll donate once they watch the film. That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, yeah. And we've been very fortunate that the community has embraced us as well. We spoke at NOCA, which is a
Yes.
performing arts high school.
Hmm.
When was that? That was in April, huh?
We did. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. And so like people are responding, and I'm really thankful for that. Just 'cause that's the main thing you really want. You just want people to get the word out,
Hmm.
excited about it. And so that has happened. And so you kind of can ask for a better outing especially at first outing.
Yeah, one of the people at the Black Film Festival, New Orleans Black Film Festival. Let me say it right. It's Black Film Festival New Orleans. It's BFFNO. One of the panelists in the introduction of talking with me, he said that there are certain things that are needed for a short film, and I wish I can repeat it right now. I have it on video, but he said what those three things were, and then he said, "Room for dessert, knocked it out of the park." So that was awesome. That was awesome to hear that we hit every point, and then we knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really
So
thankful for that. And I'm really
uh,
thankful that y'all are holding it down at the film festivals. Like family duties are keeping me at home and in spirit.
mhm, yes,
It's because I love, I mean, well, festivals in general, but film festivals especially, just getting touches in the medium. Like people who are as excited about uh, making their projects come to life and bringing their projects to life and things like that. I'm glad it's getting that love.
yes. Absolutely. So yes, so next Wednesday we'll be at the Anthology Film Festival in LA. And I got a phone call today. I'm not able to make it. And our one of our producers, Tim Gare, am I saying his last name right? Theo
Mhm.
Gare is in
Yeah.
LA. And he was there for the red carpet event to represent for Room for Dessert. So that was exciting. Unfortunately, he won't make it for next Wednesday. But I got a phone call today saying that our assistant director, Nicole Collins, who just booked a TV show in LA and who has to fly out on Monday, will be there. And hopefully her schedule will allow her to be there on next Wednesday to represent for us. So fingers crossed, I will have representation there next Wednesday at the Anthology Film Festival for Room for Dessert. They are really excited there about the film. Disappointed that we won't be there, but one of the gentlemen who just really loved the film, I actually know him. He said that he wants to get up and speak about the film. He's like, "Do you mind? Do you mind about if no one's there? Can I speak about it?" I'm like, "Sweetie,
Yes.
we do not mind. Go, please go for it." And he was like, "Yeah, Pam." He's like, oh, he calls me fam. Yeah, fam, because this one, oh my goodness." So
It's so
I'm
funny.
excited. I'm excited that Nicole will probably, fingers crossed, be there to represent because she did an amazing job as my assistant director. She was my little angel on my shoulder who whispered in my ears, "This is how you say it." So I love her for that, and her humility and her sweetness and her kindness and how much she just loved the project. She is another one who asked to be in on the project, as a matter of fact. She found us and she did. And we were like, yes, we would love to have you.
That's
I
so
thought y'all
great.
knew each other already.
Yeah. So
That's wow.
we're excited.
It's just good
And
when it's
once
all
that's
genuine like that, right? When all the attention
Yeah.
and yeah, it just makes
yes.
it all more worthwhile.
Yes, especially someone like Nicole Collins, who is actually a filmmaker herself. She's an award-winning
Yeah.
filmmaker herself. And this young lady is a fire. I mean, she's amazing. And for her to jump on, with us as a team member, and honestly, I have to give her the credit too with the festival. On this side of things, as being a producer of this festival run that we're doing right now. It's her. She's a pro at this. She's an expert at this. And she's helping me a lot with this festival run, and I really appreciate her for that. I really do. I have to give my girl a shout out there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Well, definitely amazing to have you both on here. Originally Theo and Carrie Cahill were on here about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, talking to me, and they brought up Room for
It's been
Dessert, and that
that
was the first
long.
time I heard about it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
here
yeah,
we are. It's just like I've had Pamela on now twice, and I got to see it and
yes.
everything. And I'm just here in Chicago. I feel like I'm a small part of it, even though I'm just in my living room here. But hey, this is awesome. That
We're gonna try to get it to a festival in Chicago.
oh my
I,
God, if you
There
I,
you
guys
go.
do
yeah,
that,
we
yeah.
are. We're submitting to one in Chicago. We absolutely are.
Oh, okay. Please let me
So
know.
hopefully, we'll,
Can I
oh
bring
my
Can
goodness,
I bring my 5-year-old? Because sometimes it's hard to get out
you
the house.
can, you can, absolutely. We're gonna make it there just for that, for Mark to
You know
come.
what?
We're
If
gonna.
I make it to Chicago, I'll babysit for
Oh man. Oh, Uncle Theo's
Oh,
coming over.
aren't you sweet, Uncle Theo?
She might put barrettes or something in your hair though, so be careful because she likes to do that
you. Dude,
stuff.
I got a daughter. I'm used to it.
You already know. You already know.
I have a daughter and I have long hair, so
Girl dads, y'all are cute. I
I'm
love
telling
it.
you, I just let her do whatever. It's like, don't take any pictures, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, man.
Although I just
I
outed
already know, like,
yeah,
huh?
I just
You
outed
just outed
myself.
what?
I just outed myself just now. So I'm talking about I
We
don't want any
all
evidence, and I just did it.
we already know. It was the question. We
Right,
already
right.
know that somewhere there's a picture of you with a full face of makeup.
There it is.
Yes, indeed. How is that?
Oh man.
And,
He knows too much. But yeah, it was just so much fun having you both on here and let people know any lasting thoughts you want to give about the short film Room for Dessert and where they could follow you guys and, websites and everything.
Yes, I would love to. Room for Dessert is a very important film, and we're so happy that we're on this for things, and we're happy to poke our chest out and say that we are an award-winning film, and hopefully we'll win more awards. It's an important body of work. Right now, we are about to jump back into some fundraising. This is our short proof of concept that for the feature film that we are going to start working on in the upcoming year. So please follow us on Instagram. That is our main, where we put most of our information, honestly, is on our Instagram page, and it's instagram.com/room for dessert film. And we keep everyone posted on what festivals we're doing and everything there. And we'll definitely be posting about the upcoming fundraiser. You can also go to novac.org, and we're there also accepting funds there. So please follow us. And if you want to see the film, you can definitely shoot us a message. We're not out there without a password right now, but we will be soon. But if you want to watch it in the meantime, just hit us up on Instagram. That's the best way to do it. And ask, and I'll shoot you the link and the password, and you can watch it, and you can join the team to get the word out for Room for Dessert.
That's awesome. And Theo, how about you? Do you want people to follow you on Instagram? I know you're on there.
absolutely. Instagram, Twitter, Theodus Crane, TheodusCrane. And on my Instagram, you'll have links to everything that I'm getting involved with, what I'm writing, the music I'm making, the films that I'm a part of. I'm actually very fortunate. I have three, maybe four films in festivals right now, and they're all doing well.
Yes.
So I'm just
Awesome.
very thankful to be able to say that first off. But yeah, man. So I'm just living and loving. Theodus Crane, Google it, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm very lucky that not many people have that name, so I could put it everywhere.
There you go.
Awesome. Absolutely.
That's what's up. Thank you so much, Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane, for coming on the podcast here, talking about Room for Dessert. And everybody out there, slide into those DMs and get a chance to see the film. Pamela said she'll shoot you a link, so go ahead.
Yes, slide in my
Absolutely.
DM. Don't slide in my DM.
Absolutely. Both of us, honestly, both of us.
Love it.
It was just a pleasure having you both on here again, and can't wait to see more of this. You're already talking about there's more story to tell, and I can't
Yes.
wait to see even more of what we already. 18 minutes is so much already, but I can't even imagine what another hour or so would be.
Right, that part. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you
Oh,
so
you
much
got
for
it. Oh, no
having
problem.
me again, having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
You got it. You guys always can bother this podcast if you ever want to talk about something, even something stupid. Feel free to bug
Okay.
me.
Say less. Say less.
So I already talked about getting dressed with our daughters or whatever. So
Absolutely. And I for sure want to have the deep dish versus New York crust debate.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've had both. Is deep dish
Yeah.
though? I mean, it's not really a question, but deep dish is it. Lou Malnati's, that's what's up.
Baby, that deep dish is it.
Yeah.
Actually, what I really want to on that note, what I really want to know is, are you taking lactate before or after?
Oh, gee.
So,
It's probably good to take it a week before, just to pregame it. Get ready for it.
There
It's
you go.
coming.
There you
you
go.
know that's
If you're eating it on Friday, maybe Monday you might want to start, fasting or
Yeah.
getting that.
Yep. Being gentle to your system.
Right.
If I'm ever out in Chicago, man, I would love to make some music with you too.
Yeah, man. There's always. I know there's a lot. This city has so much, just like New Orleans and everything. There's so many talented people here that do music and
Absolutely.
things. So, Yeah, man, that would be cool. Coming out to Chicago, that would be the spot. And hope you guys can do that film festival like you said earlier. That would be
That would be
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we're gonna keep trying. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's more than one. We're gonna try for all of them in Chicago.
I remember Theo, you said you didn't like the cold. Well, it's hot right now, but it's coming. So just to warn you, I don't know when that festival might be, but
I have to make an addendum to that. It's not that I don't like the cold. I don't like the brick. And Chicago is known for that brick, that wind that just like permeates through your.
Oh yeah, it hurts.
right.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. I felt like New York brick. I haven't felt Chicago, and it scares me. That's what it is. Not even that I don't like it, I'm scared of it.
It's painful. It's painful when I've experienced it more than I like it. Oh my hurts. Yeah. And now at this big age and this little size, I don't even know if I can walk the streets of Chicago right now.
You're walking sideways.
Oh, man,
because the wind is pushing
straight
you.
Away.
I'm gonna have to jump in somebody's pocket.
Yeah, I always joke the wind. It's like it hits you like you owe it money or something. It just comes at you.
Right.
A lot of money.
A lot, like right here, and change starts falling out of your
clutch
pocket.
Your pearls.
Right.
And what did I do to you?
Chicago wind gonna have to choke you right now? Yes, you're gonna have to, because I'm broke.
But I still love Chicago, though, man. Oh man, I love Chicago. I just want to go there and eat.
Yeah, that's what most people want to do. Yeah, eat and then go inside because it's cold, right?
Yes, that's it. Eat. Go to get some Garrett's popcorn.
Oh, there it is.
Eat,
yeah,
and stay inside.
right.
Yeah,
So you got
so basically, you looking for a Chicago house party.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
With the best house music ever.
Yeah. See,
Yes.
there you go. Now that's what we do here. That's right. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some new knee braces and I'm gonna see y'all on the dance floor.
So okay, we make it to a festival, Mark. This has to be a thing,
Yeah.
right? So it's got to be a house party.
Right.
There's got to be some popcorn there, and a deep dish pizza, and some
And lactate.
and the combination sandwiches.
Lactate sponsoring it. Yeah.
There you go.
Make sure there's some
While you
bathrooms
tripping,
nearby.
While you tripping, I am gonna see if I can get a sponsorship deal with lactate. Versus do it.
Do it.
That doesn't sound great. Like, oh, you eat our pizza, but you need some lactate. That doesn't sound good.
That's more of a me problem than a them problem.
No, it's true. No doubt.
Oh shoot! I gotta charge up my phone. I gotta get off the phone. I gotta charge them. It's about to die on me.
No problem. Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane from the short film Room for Dessert. Make sure you check them out online and, definitely go seek out the short film. And thanks so much for both you guys coming on here. And congratulations on all the awards and all the accolades.
Thank you
Mark.
so much for having us and for being a part of this journey.
Yeah, it's been awesome since, like I said, when Carrie and Theo first came on here. And I'm like, what's Room for Dessert? What is this? You need to bother Pam. Here we are. So
here we are. And there'll be more, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thanks so much, guys.
Okay, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Have a great day.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Really cool having both of them back on the show here. Theodus Crane and Pamela Davis-Noland. Definitely go check out past episodes I did with them before. And Theodus is crazy. Talking about, do we take lactate before we eat our deep dish pizza? I mean, I personally have never done that, but hey, lactate, we said your name a lot of times on here. Feel free to reach out. I'll sponsor lactate on here. I'll start taking it if that's what it takes to bring some money into this thing. But yeah, it makes total sense. Some of the food we eat probably needs some help with the the plumbing. It's so stupid. Theodus is crazy on that one. And he's right, though. Us out there that have daughters, we let them do stuff. They play with dolls. She'll want to put stuff in my hair. Like, I don't have that much hair. Like, I don't let it grow that long. So you can't really do a whole lot. But do what you want. And, she'll put a couple clips in there or something. She doesn't get very far with it because there's not a whole lot of hair here. She doesn't have a nice canvas to work with. So but no, she's not doing anything crazy with makeup or anything. Don't get it twisted. But I definitely let her, put the jewelry on and all that. Gotta shine inside the house here. Gotta let people know how I'm working with the kids' jewelry and the hair stuff. But yeah, on a serious note, I just wanted to bring up before I move on to the end of the show here is that, having Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane here, this is a kind of a silly show. I do a lot of things that, make me laugh and have fun on here. But, the content here is very serious about this Room for Dessert. And I really urge everybody listening to go seek it out. Go follow them online and see updates about this film and get involved if you can. And like I was saying before, they even offered, go ahead and inbox them and they'll send you a link to see this. And it's really incredible. It's a powerful film, and I can't wait for them to do more with it and to make it even longer. But that 18-minute one that they have is just incredible, and it's hard for anybody to watch that and not feel something afterward. Really good stuff. So definitely go check out Room for Dessert. Follow them on Instagram. Theodus Crane, Pamela Davis-Noland. Room for Dessert also has a profile page you can follow as well. Definitely can't say enough about that project and how great that film is.
Hey, what's up, world? This is Iron E. Singleton. Just giving a plug for my man, Mark Jolliffe of Infinite Banter. Y'all better check him out, you understand? Because he is a WWF fan, NWA fan. That means he's got wrestling chops, and he'll come see about you. You better check out his show.
Time for you to leave, asshole.
That is Kirk Casavedo telling me to get the hell out of here, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. But before I go, I did tease it at the beginning. So there's a combo that I had no idea existed, and I tried it, and I don't think I'm supposed to like it, but I think I liked it. So quick background, I'm in the Chicago area here, and there's a museum called the Museum of Ice Cream Chicago. It's downtown near Michigan, kind of near the NBC Tower for those of you who are local and you kind of have an idea where that is. But it's downtown Chicago for those who are not from here or maybe come visit here. Really cool place. Can't say enough good things about my experience going to this museum. A little pricey. I think it was like $39, $40 to get in, and I had like a discount code I found online, so took a couple bucks off. But yeah, it's a little bit of cost, but you get free ice cream. So basically you go inside and you go through each different room, and there's like a history of ice cream throughout. And at each one of these rooms, there's a station and somebody's making you the ice cream of that room. And you get Dove bars at the jump. Like before you even do anything, you're eating a Dove bar right out the gate. So, really cool. You get your money back in ice cream, kind of. So, and they even have a bar in there you could buy drinks and do other things as well. But the ice cream at the different stations throughout is all part of the admission. So that's pretty cool. There's like a miniature golf in there. Lots of interactive games and things like that. And as I said, there's the history throughout. They did a cool thing where you have there's magnet letters and you can spell out, your name or whatever. I put Run DMC on mine. I think I took a picture of it. Maybe I should post it. But the main thing is they had something that when I went up to the station to ask, because everyone you go up to, you don't know what they're offering until you ask, oh, what ice cream do you have here? A lot of them are pretty basic. Here's some Sherberts, but it's a different kind. I think it was called Superman ice creams. I tried that. But the one that I was like, I don't know if I want it, but I'm going to try it. They have hot dog flavored ice cream. And I didn't know what that was. I was like, what do you mean? So it's ice cream in the shape of a hot dog, and there's like a pink bun. Kind of has like a pastry taste to it. And you can literally put on mustard or relish. They don't have ketchup because it's Chicago. You can't have ketchup. It's a whole other thing. So, yeah, those are your two options. Or you just don't put those on and you just eat it. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. So I can't front. I kind of liked it. I ended up having two because my daughter didn't want hers. So, she made the person make her one. And I'm holding it, for like 5 minutes. I'm like, are you ever going to eat this thing? Because I already ate mine. Well, I don't want to throw it in the garbage. So it went inside the garbage, which is my stomach. So I ate two of these things. And you taste it, and it tastes like a damn hot dog. But it's ice cream. It's one of those combinations I had no idea that I wanted. I don't know how much I'm going to ever eat it again. I don't even know where you buy it other than going to this museum. And I'm sure not going to pay $40 to try it again. But it was kind of good. I can't front. I kind of liked it. Generally, and I've said it on here before, I don't like combinations. Just because there's two things I like doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like them. I like hot dogs. I like ice cream, but I never thought of putting them together. That sounds gross. Just like I've said in the past, I like wrestling and I like hip-hop music, but it doesn't mean I want to hear Macho Man do a hip-hop album. I did hear it. And that's why Infinite Torture was born, because of that album, because I talked about it. I like Jason movies, and I like space science fiction stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean Jason in space, Jason X, when he stopped eating pork, called him Jason X. No, Doesn't mean that that's a good movie. Although I will say there's some aspects of it that I like. But yeah, it's silly. It's nonsense. So yeah, a hot dog flavored ice cream. If you get a chance, I'm just saying try it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I liked it enough that I ate 2 of them damn things. Because if I didn't like it, I would have thrown that other one away. But I was holding it, it was like, let me eat another one. It's so crazy. And the one I did put the relish and the mustard on it. Because if I'm going to do it, I want to go all the way. You tell me it's supposed to have this, I want it. Hers didn't have any of that. But I ended up eating 2 of those things. I don't know if my stomach hurt. I think I was all right. I was fine. Because I had so many ice cream, treats before, it's hard to judge which is the one that had me running to the toilet and needing the Lactaid, that Theodus was talking about earlier. So anybody get a chance in the Chicago area, go to that ice cream museum. And it's one of the last stops in the tour there. But you get yourself a hot dog flavored ice cream. Like I said, it's not something that I would say that I would eat all the time, but if I get a chance, I'm not going to say no. So who knows? What else is out there? Maybe there's mayonnaise cookies that I could try next. See what's up with that. All right, that's enough out of me. The Infinite Banter Podcast, you're listening to it. You can follow it on all social media at Infinite Banter Podcast. Go on YouTube, type Infinite Banter. There's a couple episodes on there. There's clips from past guests. Check out the Spotify playlist. Check out the poll questions. Rate and review the show if you get a chance. It really helps when you do that. Repost it, send it to a friend, whatever. And definitely go check out our sponsor, Super 7, for all the cool toys. They've got the Thundercats toys. I've got some Rocky figures here. I got Bruce Lee figures from there. So many hip-hop figures, I can't name them all. There's a Slick Rick that I got a Bismarcky. There's a KRS-One. So many cool figures. Check them out, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. All right, that's it for me. Big thanks to Pamela Davis-Noland and Theodus Crane from the short film Room for Dessert. They are just incredible. I love talking to them. I've been trying to stay in touch with them ever since. They've both have come on this podcast at different times, and it's just an honor to have them back on here again. And I can't say enough good things about this film. You get a chance, go seek it out, watch it. They're doing the film festival circuit right now. Hopefully they come out to Chicago and I get a chance to see it there and hang out with those two, have some hot dog flavored ice cream, and go watch Room for Dessert. And then I'll need room for the bathroom. All right, that's enough out of me. Thanks again to Pamela and Theo for coming on the show. And until I do another one of these, I'm out.
Hey, asshole, get off the road.
Being on the Infinite Banter with my man Mark has been a pleasure.